The recent re-release of Doom onto modern consoles has brought with it the ability for gamers to experience WODs and mods from across the game's entire history. What this does is allow for almost unlimited Doom content to be curated and shared on more consoles than ever before. The one problem with this is that by opening up the floodgates, sometimes things show up that you don't quite want in your walled garden. And this week Bethesda has made news for removing a fairly noteworthy mod from the mod section. Thatcher's Techbase was removed by Bethesda, citing political reasons. This Doom mod was created by Jim Purvis back in 2021 and has been available since that date for PC players. Its removal from the Bethesda mod section implies that Bethesda does not see this mod as suitable for the wider audience that it's creating on these consoles. As one of the first major casualties of this treatment, I figured it'd be a good time to dive in and just take a sweeping look across what this offers up. Let's see if this mod was actually worthy of being banned, and let's see if we can uncover why we think Bethesda has done this. So here we are playing the mod itself, and of course this is a homage to Doom 2's intro screen, just replacing the Cyber Demon with a horrifying Margaret Thatcher. The difficulty levels have been shifted names slightly, and yes, Tory austerity. You can see we're on a rooftop here. There's a bunch of lager cans, there's cigarette packages on top of the tables, and the cigarette packages on the floor as well. Those replace the, I think it's the armor bonuses. We also just picked up some milk. So if you're American, you may not get all these references. All of these items that you're seeing, they are to do with Margaret Thatcher's 1980s Britain, and they are items that are heavily associated with life at that time. In the distance you can see some billboards here. We're going to have a quick look at these. These are commentary on various Margaret Thatcher policies and opinions of her. There's Elizabeth Tower, also known as Big Ben. This is definitely one for the UK fans, I think. I do like how the enemies here have been tinted blue to line up with Margaret Thatcher's political views, of course. As a Tory, blue is very much the colour. Also like that you can skip the intro here if you really don't want to go through all this. I think that's a great touch. If we go down the stairs here, we can see a horrifying Margaret Thatcher Cyber Demon. That is terrifying. As we head inside here, it's kind of like a command centre with Margaret Thatcher on various screens here and various British government logos and such. If we punch these guys, we actually do die, so we're not going to be doing that. We will, however, continue on here. Turning all the enemies into Tory blue variants is pretty fun. I also like the fact that there's like British wet floor signs around. Part of the reason that I'm doing this walkthrough here is just to kind of discuss why I think this mod has been slated as political by Bethesda themselves. That is a very psychedelic texture. That is a lot of psychedelic texture. It's important because if you don't live in the UK, you may not understand why this mod even exists in the first place, and that's fair enough. There is a rich history in the UK of culture and media being used against Margaret Thatcher and being used as commentary against the policies and ideas that she was putting forward. So TV shows, movies, not a lot of video games, but I imagine there are some out there, and of course music, because there was the punk rock movement against her. A lot of musicians from the UK were very vocal about their dislike for Margaret Thatcher. I also have to say, I think it's kind of novel that they've got their own little introduction sequence going on here with the names of all the developers here floating above us. It's actually really cool. I'm gonna say I haven't really seen this too much in Doom mods, and it definitely kind of sets the stage for this being a grand affair. It is kind of crazy, let's be honest. Look at that splash screen. Wow. Goodness me. So we're going to dive into the main meat of this mod here. This mod is only several levels long, and one of them is a secret level, one of them is the main level, and one of them is a sort of boss level. So ultimately, there isn't that much to this, but the levels that are here, they have a lot to say, and I'm going to be showcasing those in as much detail as I think is necessary for this video. This text crawl here is just setting the stage before we dive into the actual mod itself. What we've seen so far has been pretty fun. You can see there the door texture has been replaced by the Union Jack. I like the fact that the shotgun has been replaced with a Winchester shotgun. I will also mention that I've noticed this mod has a lot of sort of nods and uses assets from Doom 64 quite liberally. That's a very nice touch in my opinion. Very nice way to pay homage to Doom 64. We're going to be seeing various scrolls like that on the wall. Hello, Margaret. How are you doing? Is that a Margaret Thatcher statue I see in front of me? We've also got a little hedge maze here. The Lost Souls have been changed up. They seem to be a bit easier to kill in this, which I'm not going to complain about. Yes, that is indeed a statue of Margaret Thatcher. And of course there's some milk there. Can't shoot it. Got some protection. I'm assuming those are condoms. I'm not sure. I assume that's what that is. We're going to wander around the hedge maze here. Margaret Thatcher looming over us as we make our way around here is pretty crazy. There's random invulnerability here. Not quite sure why that's here. Don't think there's anything too exciting going on in this maze. Oh, is that a grave for Margaret Thatcher? I can definitely understand why some people may be offended by this kind of thing, and why Bethesda may have decided it's a bit too much. Because we're not just seeing Margaret Thatcher on the walls, we're basically going to her grave and dancing on it, which... But there's definitely a lot of effort that's gone into this. You cannot tell me that like effort was not poured into this. Is this like a graveyard? I'm gonna let you read that. I'm not quite sure what this room is meant to be. Like if it's just meant to be like a normal graveyard or such. The level design here is also pretty interesting. We only have to be lucky once. Oh no. You can see all these things on the wall. These are all here very intentionally to evoke a response. We are entering Margaret Thatcher's Techbase here, of course. There's a health and safety sign that you'd find in the UK. The Union Jack flag's there. I'll save that supercharge in case I need it a bit later on. There we go. I just wanted that energy cell pack. What's interesting here is there's several ways into here. You can come down the middle here. You can go down the sides. Let's see if I can get out of here before I die. So that photo there of Margaret Thatcher is actually from a TV show called Spitting Image. They were one of the more notable examples from TV of people ripping heavily into Margaret Thatcher. Interesting, we're climbing through a chasm of blood here to escape Margaret Thatcher's clutches. We'll explore around here. destroy the barrels there. That looks like a fun gun. I want to get my hands on that. Oh, so the Spider Mastermind has been turned into a sort of Margaret Thatcher monster as well. That's horrifying. I didn't need to sleep tonight. I'm guessing that was not the main boss of this level. Head back out to the front here. So far, there's a lot of Margaret Thatcher in this. A lot of Margaret Thatcher in this. There's graffiti on the wall there. What are these things? The Revenant's got blue pants, because of course he has. I do kind of like the new chain gunner sprites. Those are pretty nifty. As I said, I'm really just exploring this level. I don't know if I'm going to be completing it or not, because I do want to showcase the other levels as well a bit. Head into the center here. Is that an icon of sin? No, it's just Margaret Thatcher's head made to look like an icon of sin. Okay, so this is the rocket launcher for this. Oh wow, okay, a load of enemies popped up behind me here. We'll take you out. Let's go and grab this. Oh, so that's a trident. Interesting. I do kind of like that the Union Jacks are just kind of there. So I assume this is the plasma rifle replacement. I think we can leave this direction here. From here, I am going to skip ahead slightly because I feel that there's a lot in this level to explore, and I don't want to spoil everything, but there is one part that I feel does need talking about on this level. So when you enter this room towards the level's end, you come into this room here, and it took me a few seconds to realise this is actually a version of the Houses of Parliament. So you've got Margaret Thatcher as a cyber demon sat on the speaker's chair there, and the chambers at the side where normally the MPs would sit, those are here in great detail. And as you can see, we've basically got an Icon of Sin fight going on here. This is wildly inventive for me, and I really love this whole thing. I'm going to skip to the secret level. The route to the secret level in this is actually a loving homage to E1M1. I'm not going to spoil it here because I think it's something that you should play through in your own time, but it does lead you to a secret level that, again, pays homage to id Software's history while also having fun. You may recognize this level from both Wolfenstein and from Doom 2. This is the Groose level. You can see around this level we're fighting various soldiers and Wolfenstein enemies. I was just letting you hear what they said. They're saying bloody hell. I actually think this is a better version of this level than what you get in Doom 2, to be honest.
Bloody hell.
It's all very tongue-in-cheek and it's done in a very fun way. And of course, when you come back here, you have to fight the Margaret Thatcher Cyber Demon. You can see that these secrets don't actually lift up in this version. And you can also see here, as a lovely reference to the boss in Wolfenstein 3D, you can see Maggie herself in place of Hitler, which is pretty hilarious. We're pretty much done with this level here. Of course, this is not a super long level anyway, but there is one final giggle to be had. Instead of the Commander Keynes, we get the Flaming Union Jack. This actually reminds me of that Simpsons episode where Lisa meets her future fiance and the flag burns and like in his eye you can see it burning and he's just weeping. Completing that secret level though sends you back to the level we were playing previously. There is one final level and I'm going to show it off very, very quickly here. This is just a final showdown with the Iron Lady herself. In the middle of this giant room here, there's a Margaret Thatcher head on top of a stick. She's just waiting to be punched here, and we're going to do our duty and finish the old lady off. In my opinion then, do I feel that this mod should have been removed for political reasons? I can definitely understand why Bethesda did not really want to deal with this. If outsiders were to look in on this mod and see it out of context running on modern consoles, let's say a parent sees a kid playing it, I feel that that conversation would not be nuanced and it would just become a load of hot air, because that's how these conversations tend to go when you have outsiders talking about video games. And to be fair, it does kind of hammer on Margaret Thatcher incredibly harsh. That being said, this is not a bad mod at all. In fact, it's quite well presented. It does have a very heavy political message, but at the end of the day, you know that going in. You wouldn't be downloading this expecting anything but that. It is disappointing that if you are on consoles, you're basically going to have to quickly grab this whenever it gets re-uploaded, because at the moment, it is going up and then getting taken down, because that is how Bethesda want to play this. For my money, it's not that bad. I don't think there's anything here that is truly offensive. The grave might be a bit much in my opinion. I think that's the one thing I would probably say goes a bit too far in this. But other than that, I generally don't have any issues with this, and I feel like most people playing this would take it as the tongue-in-cheek humour that it's intended to be. I'm going to let you see the monster crawl here just so you can see all the monster modifications, because they are pretty interesting. But let me know in the comments what your feelings are on this. Do you feel this mod should have been taken down on the official games? Do you feel that Bethesda's overreached? Or do you agree entirely with what they've done here? Let me know in the comments, and thank you so much for watching.